Once upon a time in a bustling town, there lived a young man named James. He was a skilled potter who crafted the most exquisite pots anyone had ever seen. Each piece of his work was a masterpiece, delicate, symmetrical, and adorned with intricate designs. James had a talent that could leave anyone in awe, but he had one flaw. He loved to show off. Whenever James completed a new pot, he would carry it to the marketplace and boast loudly about its beauty. "Look at this pot. Have you ever seen anything so perfect? I am the best potter in the entire town." He would attract crowds, but the constant bragging made people roll their eyes. They admired his work, but found his attitude off-putting. One day, an elderly potter named Lucas moved into the town. Lucas was humble and quiet, and his pots were just as beautiful as James, if not more. Unlike James, Lucas never shouted about his skills. Instead, he would quietly display his pots at the corner of the market. He let his work speak for itself. Curious about the newcomer, James decided to confront Lucas. "Why don't you promote your work like I do? How will anyone notice your talent if you don't shout about it?" Lucas smiled and replied, "True success doesn't need to be announced. If your work is good, it will draw people to you. And if it's not, no amount of noise will change that." James scoffed and walked away, convinced that Lucas' quiet approach would lead to failure. But over the next few weeks, something unexpected happened. More and more people started buying Lucas' pots. Word spread about the new potter who created beautiful pieces without seeking attention. People admired Lucas' humility and respected his craft even more. One day, James noticed that Lucas' stall was crowded with customers while his own stood empty. Feeling defeated, he went to Lucas and asked, "How do you do it? How do you win people over without saying a word?" Lucas placed a hand on James' shoulder and said, "James, the loudest drums make the emptiest noise. Focus on perfecting your craft and let your work do the talking. True success doesn't need an audience. It creates one on its own." From that day onward, James stopped bragging. He focused on improving his skills and let his pots speak for him. Over time, people began to notice the change in his demeanor. They started returning to his stall, not just for his pots, but for the sincerity he now radiated. James learned that quiet success is more powerful than loud boasting. It earns respect, builds trust, and leaves a lasting impression, one that words alone never could. Moral of the story: don't show off. Let your actions and hard work speak for you. Success achieved with humility is the kind that lasts.